Get to know the country where you can buy your bride at the market. In southeast Bulgaria, there's this unique event known as the Khalidzi Bride Market, bringing together about 2,000 people, including members of the Roma community, renowned for their ancient skill in working with copper. This special occasion is a chance for young unmarried girls to be introduced to well-off suitors. However, this tradition is facing resistance among young Roma, who prefer to choose their partners based on love, going against the tradition that values financial arrangements. The community, devoted to Orthodox Christianity, imposes restrictions on dating, flirting, and premarital relationships in an attempt to preserve their traditions in a rapidly changing world, where their traditional craft is being challenged by cheaper products from elsewhere. The market isn't just about keeping these traditions alive, but also a strategy to create financial alliances between families, although economic pressure has impacted the price of brides recently. For some, this price serves as a way to cover wedding costs, while others criticize the practice, arguing that it perpetuates outdated ideas about virginity and the female role in society. Come along on a fascinating journey into the universe of the Khalidzi, where we delve into their intricate cultural customs. Let's uncover the meaning behind their traditional rituals, the significance of the initiation rites for young women, the logic behind dowries and marriages, and more deeply, how the Khalidzi view these practices. What keeps such traditions alive in modern times? How do those who experience them perceive them? And what impact does this have on the women involved? At the core of these practices lies a high regard for virginity, seen as a cornerstone in Khalidzi culture. Female purity goes beyond mere family pride, directly affecting the value of the dowry, and by extension, a woman's status in marriage negotiations. Preparation for married life involves an educational process filled with teachings and rites, all aimed at preserving female purity. The wedding scene is a spectacle in itself, painted with a vibrant palette of colors and emotions, where ceremonies are held outdoors or in public places, evoking the atmosphere of a festive market. It's a moment when communities come together to exchange, celebrate, and forge marital bonds, making these occasions true manifestations of Khalidzi culture and socialization. Young women, dressed to the nines, surrounded by their loved ones, find themselves at the center of marriage discussions, where interested men and their families negotiate the so-called bride price. This practice, deeply rooted in tradition and local economy, not only reflects the financial situation of the community, but also expresses a profound respect for the formation of a new family. However, in an era where principles of human rights, individual independence, and gender equality are in the spotlight, such customs face critical scrutiny. Seen by many as a form of female objectification, this tradition is criticized for limiting women's freedom of choice and perpetuating gender inequalities and stereotypes. Despite valid criticisms, they often overlook the cultural significance of this practice for the Khalidzi community. For them, marital negotiation goes beyond a mere transaction. It's a cornerstone of their cultural identity, serving as a means to preserve their traditions, reinforce community ties, and ensure the continuity of their distinct culture in broader Bulgarian society. For many young people, seeking love through ancient traditions is still a vital choice, especially when picking someone who values the same customs and cultural heritage. Among the Roma community in Bulgaria, the Khalidzi stand out for their distinct culture, a heritage that remains alive through generations, showcasing a history rich in traditions, migrations, and the ability to adapt. Delving into the phenomenon of the bride market among them offers a glimpse into the intricate web of customs that define them, setting them apart not only from other Roma groups, but also from Bulgarian society at large. Historically known as copper craftsmen, the Khalidzi faced significant changes after the fall of communism and the advance of modernization, which challenged their centuries-old traditions, including copper manufacturing. However, amid these challenges, they strive to keep their cultural identity alive, and the bride market remains one of their most significant and representative traditions. In the unique setting of the Khalidzi bride market, love isn't the only precious commodity at stake. It's a space where families come together to discuss alliances that go beyond sentimentality, encompassing financial interests and the virtues of the bride. In this festive atmosphere, young people flaunt their finest attire and dance to the vibrant rhythm of contemporary Roma music, while in the shadows, serious conversations about strategic marriages take place. These discussions aim not only at uniting hearts, but also at the possibility of overcoming the economic adversities many face in the region. Amid this Khalidzi tradition, which historically involved withdrawing young girls from school early to preserve their interactions solely within the community and encourage internal marriages, an evolution is taking place. Present times have brought about an openness, allowing genuine affection between young couples to more actively influence the marriage decision. This adaptation to the new era reflects a blend of respect for traditional values with the necessary acceptance of social changes, ensuring the unity and strengthening of community and family ties across generations. Within the social context, the Kalegi are notable for their relatively privileged economic position compared to other Roma groups, diversifying their economic activities and venturing into various fields of work and entrepreneurship. However, this apparent prosperity doesn't exempt them from the difficulties faced by many Roma communities across Europe, including discrimination, marginalization, and economic hardships. These challenges are directly reflected in the organization of the marriage market, where the economy and cultural traditions deeply intertwine. Culturally, the Kalegi are distinguished by a strict adherence to their traditions, which encompass the preservation of purity before marriage and matrimonial arrangements through the bride market. They also keep their language alive, a specific Romani dialect, and their traditions, including typical attire and social practices, marking their difference from both other Roma communities and the mainstream Bulgarian culture. This uniqueness is a source of pride, but it also contributes to their exclusion as they face the challenge of preserving their cultural identity amidst a rapidly transforming society. The Khalidzi Roma wedding event is more than just a tradition. It's a profound symbol of community identity and unity. This gathering represents a pivotal moment in their collective history, capturing the essence of how they've adapted to the changing world without losing their cultural roots and values. Over the years, this ancient celebration has reflected the challenges and changes of the society they live in, yet the connection with their traditions and way of life has never been lost. The preparation of young Khalidzi women for this big day is complex and rich in meaning, going far beyond mere appearance. They receive a deep education in their traditions, learning about customs, social skills, and the role they will play as wives. The community places a high value on the virtue and purity of the brides, emphasizing the importance of morality and spiritual integrity within their culture. Preserving chastity isn't just seen as a health or moral issue in Khalidzi culture, but as a badge of honor and a reflection of family values. From a young age, girls are taught to value virginity not only for its role in future marital unions, but also as a factor that enhances their family's prestige in the community and influences the dowry received in marriage. This emphasis on purity is a cornerstone in Khalidzi culture, playing a vital role in partner selection for marriage. The upbringing of young women in this community is a harmonious blend of knowledge passed down through generations and the demands of the modern world. Even with access to traditional education, home learning receives special attention, focusing on skills like cooking, sewing, and managing the household, seen as essential for the future wife and mother. These competencies are valued for ensuring she can provide a healthy and harmonious family environment. The immersion of young women in Khalidzi traditions and practices aims at the continuity of these ancestral cultural customs. As the event where brides are chosen approaches, there's special care taken with the girl's visual presentation, underscoring the importance of aesthetics in this context. Women dress in traditional elegance, choosing clothes that blend beauty with modesty, adorned with vibrant colors and intricate details like embroidery, paying homage to their cultural origins. How a young woman presents herself in this environment is seen as a reflection of her family's status and her own eligibility for marriage. Besides visually preparing themselves, they're educated about the behaviors and traditions expected in wedding ceremonies. This includes everything from how to interact with future partners and their relatives to understanding the nuances of matrimonial negotiations, always done respectfully and charmingly. Facing the challenge of emotional and psychological strengthening is an important part of this preparation. Leaving the parents' home and adapting to new realities is a significant milestone in a person's life. This transition often relies on the support and advice of older family members, who pass on their experiences and wisdom. Partner selection is an annual tradition, usually held in spring, in spacious locations or public squares, chosen for their accessibility and capacity to accommodate many people. At these events, the atmosphere bursts with life, turning into colorful and vibrant stages where music, conversations, and agreements create a symphony. It's a party, but also a moment of serious negotiations about the couple's future. The festivity is rich in ancient traditions and customs that have spanned generations. One of the most beautiful rituals is the application of henna on the bride's hands and feet, a gesture that brings beauty and good luck. The jewelry, like the nath, nose ring, and the boar, headpiece, aren't just adornments. They proclaim the prosperity and prestige of the bride's family. These celebrations go beyond appearances, incorporating ceremonies that symbolize the fusion of family ties and spiritual purification. Examples of this include the tradition of breaking glass in Russia and plates in Greece to bring luck to the couple, and fasting on the wedding day in Israel, representing purity and a fresh start. At the entrance of the ceremony, it's traditional for the couple to be escorted by their parents, highlighting the central role of family in this commitment. In cultures like the Japanese, spring and autumn are considered auspicious times to marry, with November being a particularly favorable month. The wedding preparation process often includes careful scrutiny by the families of the couple, ensuring that the union is honored and free from scandals. In the marriage process, the interaction between the interested parties and the bride's family is crucial. This phase involves a complex exchange of courtesies, conversations, and mutual understandings. Suitors express their interest in a particular woman and seek to communicate with her family, often relying on influential figures in the community to ensure that customs and respect are preserved. Once the interest is mutually recognized, dialogue about the dowry begins. This financial agreement between families takes into account various factors, such as the bride's appearance, skills, and education, as well as the economic situation of both families. This is a lengthy and complex process that may require multiple conversations, and in some cases, negotiations. It's important to emphasize that the dowry goes beyond a simple financial transaction, representing a custom that symbolizes the union between families. In the context of the Kolaji Roma, for example, the agreed-upon dowry value can range from $500 to $1,500. The tradition of dowry among the Kolaji Roma, despite its deep cultural roots, sparks important debates about human rights and ethics, highlighting autonomy and consent of the parties involved as primary ethical concerns. The tradition of arranged marriages by families, which often determines whom young women will marry, is a central aspect of what's known as the bride market. This practice highlights the tension between respecting cultural traditions and women's personal autonomy in choosing their own future. Some women are raised to appreciate and honor these traditions as fundamental parts of their culture and identity. However, others feel constrained by these same practices, yearning for more freedom of choice. Women in the Kolaji community, for example, navigate a complicated landscape that blends the preservation of traditions with a desire for modernity. This situation isn't unique to this community. Women in different parts of the world face similar dilemmas, seeking to reconcile respect for ancient cultural values with the struggle for empowerment and gender equality. Culture exerts significant influence, shaping expectations and providing space for questioning and reevaluating traditional norms in favor of equality and recognition of rights. In a global movement, we see the transformation of traditions in the face of modern challenges. Communities around the world are finding ways to adapt their ancestral practices to reflect more current values, without losing their connection to their cultural roots. These changes aim to strike a balance between preserving cultural identity and promoting inclusion and diversity, fundamental elements for the advancement of a progressive society. Within the Kolaji community, the bride market is seen in two contrasting lights. On one hand, it's celebrated as a pillar of honor and cultural tradition. On the other, it's criticized as an outdated relic that clashes with contemporary principles of personal independence and gender equality. The key to navigating this crossroads lies in open discussion and critical review of cultural practices, thereby facilitating the evolution of traditions that can coexist harmoniously with advancements in promoting female autonomy and gender equality. In some cases, certain young women have taken positions against these conventions, resorting to extreme measures such as leaving the family home to escape imposed marital obligations. While such acts of disobedience are exceptional, they raise serious questions about the perpetuation of entrenched customs, encouraging social debates about their relevance and permanence. However, these decisions can lead to severe repercussions in both social and familial spheres for the women involved, highlighting the risks associated with challenging deeply established cultural norms. The pressure to conform to the marriage market, exerted by both family and community, illustrates the complexity of the situation. For many groups, this practice transcends the symbolism of a ritual, constituting a central element of social organization. The central theme revolves around a delicate cultural practice within the Kalaji community, which deeply impacts the future of young women and the cohesion of the group. For some, it's a way to secure a good future for their daughters and to keep the community united. However, there are those who see it as an opportunity to gain economic profits by arranging marriages for their daughters. The pressure for these girls to follow traditions is overwhelming, leaving them with few opportunities for questioning or seeking different paths. In a landscape where strong traditions are prevalent, as is the case in the Kalaji community, the challenge arises to find a middle ground between preserving customs and respecting individual rights and freedoms. This becomes particularly complex in the case of the marriage market, a practice deeply intertwined with the collective identity of this community. The issues surrounding human rights and ethical concerns in this context are intricate, reflecting the clash between maintaining traditions and adapting to a constantly changing world. The different stances of the young women, ranging from passive acceptance to resistance and rebellion, mirror a community in transition. With the challenges faced by the Kalaji Roma at this crossroads, the future of the marriage market and its cultural significance remains uncertain. This scenario highlights the difficulties that many traditional communities face in the face of pressures from a rapidly changing globalized world.